Hello and welcome to Don't Feed the Gondolas. The big food development of the week, as reported in the Star newspaper, was the news that there is now a real threat that the price of chips could go up. This, of course, has prompted grave concern within government circles, where the worry is that the price increase could cause a famine in Limerick. With Dara O'Brien, well, you've seen them on the street, bearded, reeking of drink, muttering incomprehensibly. Yes, I speak, of course, of Irish traditional musicians. And we have a reasonably sober one with us tonight from the legendary group, the Hairy Bowsies, performers of that smash hit, The Crack We Had the Day We Died for Ireland. It's Ding Dong Denny O'Reilly. And joining Brendan O'Connor of the Sunday Independent, when you think of acts like Johnny Logan, Linda Martin and the Carter Twins, two words instantly spring to mind.
Tops of the town.
Absolute crap. Interestingly, are not those words. The words are in fact the name of a showbiz legend in this town, the current manager of Boyzone, Mr. Louis Walsh.
Current manager,
Now, to avoid any confusion, we'll start with our first round, which this week is our Eurovision observation round. We show each team a clip from a Eurovision Song Contest. They simply have to tell me what happens next. Dara and Ding Dong. Ding Dong's doing his hair there. Very attractive it is too. You go first, and what you have here is, this is from the 1977 Eurovision, which was staged in England. This is the Austrian entry. Have a look at this.
Ding dong, sing the song, in a good time time.
Now, just in case you missed that, the lyrics were, Ding Dong, sing a song, hear the guitar twang, Kojak, hijack, me and you. And they say Shane McGowan drinks too much, you know what I mean? What do you think happened next?
Yeah, it was
Dara and Ding Dong.
Yes, let's just leave it with Dara, shall we?
Let's do that.
Just for a couple of seconds, shall we?
I can live with
that. Four blokes in, were they wearing boiler suits or something at the time?
Yes,
yeah,
kind
they
of
were just off
red.
the set of
Looking like a bunch of boilers and all.
So they just probably went on to become Bosco presenters immediately after that. And Boom Boom Boomerang, it's a well-known Aborigine rebel song. They give us back Airs Rock, or we'll chuck a big stick at you. Is the thing. So what happens next is they're all wearing this horrible kind of 1970s man-made fibres, and they started wagging their legs around, and there's so much static electricity that they short-circuited their own brains. And they ended up singing and dancing like complete morons. And I guarantee that's correct, and the VT will back me up on this. What happened next? They looked like fools.
They look like fools.
Yeah.
Or they're out of their minds on drugs, basically.
One or the other, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, that's not really a great guess, really, to be honest with you. I think
no, it's a bit obvious that they look like fools.
It's a bit obvious they look like
Eurovision 1977.
Well, I'll give you 1 point for saying they look like fools. What actually happened next, let's have a look at the VT and find out.
Ding dong, sing the song, in a good time time. Kojak, hijack, me and you.
Apparently, after that, people ran screaming from the building. Louis, I must say, congratulations, big sponsorship deal. Pepsi, Boyzone, loads of money. How much did you get?
Lots.
How much? Come on, tell us.
Lots.
Lots.
Enough for some new clothes, maybe?
Yeah.
Lots.
I actually only asked that because apparently, we just heard this before we came on air, National Irish Bank followed your lead, and they have a big sponsorship deal now with a major manufacturer of document shredding machines.
Louis, just between yourself and myself, right?
Yeah.
Just between myself. The other four members, where did they get in the old... Where did they get in the old heave-ho? I go on, seriously. Are they just there as a tax write-off at this stage? Are they there?
You're talking about a very successful band, you know?
Yeah, but it'd be even more successful if you cut out the four overheads, you know what I mean?
So you got the 1990 Eurovision from Zagreb. This is before they blew it up, obviously. And,
Which is the Eurovision?
No, Zagreb. They blew that up. In this clip, two women from Spain, they're about to start their number. Now, have a look at this. There you go. What happens next?
That's actually the Carter Twins in the previous incarnation, isn't it?
Oh, so they lost as well then? Oh, all right.
Given that they're Spanish, I presume they go upstairs to the top of a double-decker bus. They're joined by 50 other Spanish people. all talk really loudly and look for directions to McDonald's.
No, surprisingly enough, is the answer to that. Louis, do you have any answers, do you think?
I think they know their song is absolute crap and they're not going to win or aren't going to win that year and they decide to run away.
They decide to run away?
Yeah.
I will give you 3 points for that, because you more or less have it right. Well done, Louis. Hey! So let's have a look at that piece of VT again and find out actually what happened. Now, we should remind you, this is going out live to millions of people. Jimmy Greeley explains what's happening here.
Well, I don't know what the Yugoslavian is for cock-up. We've just had one at the very start of the program. So hopefully, Azucar Moreno will get things going with Bandido.
What's actually happened here is they can't hear any music. So they say, sod this, let's go to the pub instead. So off they go. They're walking off, totally fed up with the whole thing. Nobody knows what to do. No, they've had enough of this. We're off. See ya. This is going out live to millions of people. Now here's the backing band. They decide, showbiz spirit, we don't need those wagons. Nobody will notice. Nobody will notice nobody's singing the song. Let's play anyway. Look. Look, happy. That's the thing to do. Yes. Everything's fine now. Yes, great.
Never worked since.
Who?
Jimmy Greeley.
Yes, interesting point that. So at the end of that round, the scores are that Dara's team got 1 point and Brendan's team got 3 points. Well done.
Nerdish encyclopedic knowledge.
Now, just in case you've never heard of Louis Walsh, you're one of those people who've never heard of him. Louis's like an impresario. He manages bands. He's managed some of the really big names in Irish entertainment over the years. And I just want to actually ask Louis a question about this. Say, for instance, now with Johnny Logan, you know, when you handled him, did he get bigger? No, hang on now. No, what I mean is that you know, when you have an artist like that, the things always come off the way you intend. That's
He was very big in Turkey.
yeah.
But as Louis was explaining to me earlier, the thing to watch out with the boy bands is that they don't peak too early.
Now, one of the most interesting stories from the weekend was that the Christian Brothers have finally apologized for years of beating the crap out of their students. And they've gone further than that by setting up a helpline. What happens is that if you've got a complaint about the treatment you received at the hands of the Christian Brothers, you can ring up, get through to a Christian brother, and he'll say, "You've got a complaint, I'll give you something to complain about." Time for adverts now, but when we come back, a glimpse of what Louis Walsh called the best pop band Ireland ever produced. See you in a few minutes.
This is an urgent appeal.
An automobile, the harder you ride, the better I feel. We run out of gas, so take a deep breath. Come on, honey, we're gonna really ride it. We're gonna move it, hide it.
Love me like an automobile, the harder you ride, the better I feel. So, Louis, that was the best pop band Ireland ever produced.
Yeah.
Explanations, please.
Chips were a great band in their day.
Yes.
You remember them.
And they've had it as
You
well,
used to
haven't
dance
they?
to them down the slow.
You know,
No.
You did, yeah. You did.
once when Linda Martin and Chips played in Limerick, there was a riot. Because the locals had been expecting some bird singing and a bit of dinner. And they actually got some bird singing and a ballad.
Time now for a State of the Nation, where we test how much in tune our contestants are with the average best pop band Ireland ever produced on the street. Now, this is the second last show in the series. Next week we do have a very special show for you, but we won't have the usual Vox Pop round. So because of that, we decided that this week there really only was one place we could go to. Yes, folks, we're in Ahaskra, and as you can see, the crowds are... We'll do this bit later on, maybe. Yes, it really does exist. Ahaskra is a little village about 6 miles outside Ballinasloe, County Galway, and if you look up Ahaskra in the Guinness Book of Records, it's got a curious claim to fame. Ahaskra has got the highest per capita drinking rate of anywhere else on the planet.
Oh, yeah?
How's it going? That is actually true about the drinking rate. We were told that in Cahill's pub in Ahaskra. So we weren't sure, so we went and checked it in Blundell's pub in Ahaskra. And just to be doubly sure, we went to Frankie's and they said, yes, it's true. Now, but as you might have noticed there in the VT, it was a bit quiet that day. And we were kind of standing around for a long time, didn't really meet anyone. But we did eventually run into a funeral. They were standing outside Katie Daly's pub, I'm not making this up. You can see them there. They've all got black suits, the whole thing. So here's some videotape of people in a Haskra dealing with their grief.
One more time.
What's going on?
Do one more time. That was beautiful. This is take two now.
Take two! Take two! Take two!
What's going on? He didn't even know he was dead. It's amazing, isn't it? So, Dara, you go first. The question we asked was, they say everyone is talking about a Haskra. Have you ever heard the voices? We asked these men, did they say A, we're all lesbians in this town? B, oh yes, they do be talking to be sure? Or C, you smell real purty, city boy?
It's worth knowing, actually, to people who may think that I was down. I know the answer to this one, that I was actually down in a Haskar on the same day helping with the arrangements for the funeral, because I was set up the karaoke in the bouncy castle outside the church for the big day. But I mean, of the three answers there, I don't think it's C, because I don't think they look like extras from Deliverance. And I don't think it's B, because I don't think they look like extras from Far and Away. So clearly they look like extras from Convent School Girls Are All Naughty. The answer is A, we're all lesbians in this town.
Okay, A, we're all lesbians in this town. Let's have a look at the VT and find out. They say everybody is talking about a Haskra. Yeah. Do you ever hear the voices?
No. We're all lesbians in this village, I'm sorry. We really are. We're definitely lesbians or gays, one or the other, I'm sorry.
All right.
What are you doing tonight?
Leaving town fast, actually. Ding dong, your go. Your story, this is a true story that appeared in the papers during the week. It concerns an Irishman who was working in Heathrow Airport, and he quit his job because his colleagues nicknamed him Semtex. Step up from Paddy, anyway, I suppose, you know. So the question we asked was, this week an Irishman angrily quit his job at Heathrow Airport because his colleagues had nicknamed him Semtex. Was he wrong to blow up that way? We asked this man, did he say...
I hope he gave no warning anyway.
We asked this man, did he say, A, I'm from a Haskra, you know? B, I beg your pardon? Or C, do you see all them girls there? Marty Whelan has shagged the lot of them. Very good.
I'm Irish true and true.
So,
I'll tell you how I know that, because when I puke up 12 times, the last thing to come out is green.
Great, that's
bit of me true Irish soul coming up there.
Can I ask you just a question, Ding Dong? What letter does asshole start with?
B.
B is good enough for me. B, I beg your pardon. Let's have a look at the VT and find out. Apparently a man an Irish worker in Heathrow Airport, angrily quit his job because all his colleagues nicknamed him Semtex. Do you think it was right of him to blow up that way?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, 3 points, well done. So Brendan, your story is that our TDs voted themselves £1 million in tax-free allowances this week, and Bertie Ahern got a £20,000 pay rise, so we can finally pay for those elocution lessons. Isn't that great?
And of course, those divorces aren't getting any cheaper either.
They're not, no, yeah. So the question we asked was, this week our TDs voted themselves a pay rise. Is this just money for old dopes? We asked this man, did he say A, if they had someone like Mr. Ben Dunn, we'd all have it free of charge, whatever that is. B, dope, can't get it, but the cocaine here is excellent. Or C, I'm from a Haskra, you know.
Apparently that when they decided on that pay rise during the week, it was the quickest debate ever in the Dáil. One guy said, we'll have a pay rise, and the other one, hey! And then the bishop came and gave them all a half day. And
Fantastic.
I would imagine, judging by the look on your man's face, that he might have said the one about the cocaine.
It's possible. B?
But I would say he actually said A.
You reckon he said A? Let's have a look at the VT and find out. This week our TDs have voted to give themselves a pay rise. Do you think that's just a load of money for old dopes?
Well, in my own ordinary point of view, if they had somebody like Mr. Ben Dunn, we'd all have it free of charge.
Rejoicing in the streets there. It was touch and go there for a while, but he started that sentence and by God he finished it. That was the main thing.
Listen, they'd all have what free of charge?
I have no idea.
I presume what it is that he lives in a town full of lesbians, so he probably has to pay for it.
So, Louis, anyway, because of your showbiz background, we thought we'd ask you a question about coastal erosion. So,
God knows Boyzone have been wearing us all down for a while now.
So the question we asked was, according to a survey, Ireland is under threat from coastal erosion and sewage. Could the country disappear under waves of crap? We asked this man, did he answer A, waves of crap? Isn't that Phil Coulter's new album? B, well, there's a lot of it around here anyway. Or C, I like beer, do you like beer? What do you reckon?
I think I'd go for B, Sean.
You think you go for B? Well, there's a lot of it around here anyway.
Yeah, there is too. I mean, have you seen this show? Have you watched this show?
There is a lot of it around here anyway, yeah.
Or do you remember that show? It was on instead of Kenny Live during the summer. Good grief. Concrete,
I think I owe you that one anyway after this show. So let's have a look at the VT and find out. According to a geological survey this week, Ireland is under threat from coastal erosion and sewage.
Yes.
Do you think the country could disappear under waves of crap?
I'm sure we're all going to disappear.
Under waves of crap?
Oh, yes.
Have you seen them in a Haskra?
I haven't, and there's plenty of them around you at the moment.
Well, it was hilarious at the time. So at the end of that round, the scores are that Dara's team got 6 points and Brendan's team got 6 points.
So, are we in the final one? Yeah. It's the easy one now.
There's just enough time left for our final wave of crap, 60 seconds of facts. Each team are asked a minute's worth of questions about the week's events. They get a point for the right answer, or 2 if they can extract squeals of delight from our studio audience. Dara and Ding Dong has won, 2 points for me, thanks very much. Dara and Ding Dong, your 60 seconds of fact starts now. To get a role, 3 out of 10 Hollywood actresses say they would do what?
The producer.
I know. They do a Ronan song in the National Song Contest.
No, it's Sleep with the Director actually is the right answer, so only
So
1 point for that. A spectator, you said producer. A spectator at a cockfight in Carlow was fined £200 for what?
Getting a horn.
They've only got a minute. Cruelty to animals is the answer. Ireland has had no increase in the number of visitors from where?
The UVF.
The continent is the actual answer. Fine Gael are trying to bring in what for bouncers?
Colouring books.
ID cards they don't have to read.
3 points for that and 3 points for the women in the audience who said Marty Whelan. A US company was refused permission to bring out a Princess Diana what?
Airbag.
3 points for that. Stop, that is the right answer. Charles Haughey wants all politicians to be what?
To be involved in a very mysterious gardening accident.
The actual answer is probed. I'll give you 3 points for that.
Okay, good.
You see, they cut this bit out now when I add it all up, so I look really clever at the end.
Get away, turn it up.
Brendan and Louis, your 60 seconds of fact starts now. Ronan Keating and Gary Barlow performed what together at the Olympia?
Brain surgery.
A duet is the right answer. Andrew Ridgely of Wham is now a member of what?
Mensa.
Fine Gael.
More or less the same thing. Surface Against Sewage is the right answer. Simon Young has a decent sized part in what?
In his dreams.
Ballycus Angel is the right answer. When Sonia O'Sullivan returned to Cove last week, she was given what?
A new hairdo.
A square meal and a Wonder Bra.
A hero's welcome is the actual answer. Norma Smurfett was fined £150 last week for what?
Soliciting.
Speeding was the right answer.
Broke a red light. Same thing.
Bill Clinton this week said he was sorry for what?
Garth Brooks.
Slavery is the actual answer. Children who watch TV for 4 hours a day are what?
Ex-members of Boyzone.
No, the ex-members, they didn't get paid. Yeah.
Fatter than children who don't. When CJ Haughey left court last week, a supporter cried, I don't care what you did, you're still a what?
Politician.
More or less the same thing. I'll give you 3 points for that. So at the end of that round and at the end of the show, the scores are that Dara's team got 28 points and Brendan's team got 28 points. It's a draw again.
Just a minute now. You're gonna
So
say-
that's all your license fee entitles you for.
Yeah, we are.
That's all your license fee entitles you for this week. However, there is a free repeat next Sunday and a very special show next Monday to celebrate the end of our first season. Thanks to Dara's guest, Ding Dong Denny O'Reilly, and with Brendan Louis Walsh. But as we go, another big story of the week was the news that a religious cult in Texas called God's Salvation Church predicted that this week God would talk to them on one of their local television channels. Sadly, God failed to show up. The news story about God's Salvation Church was first broken by another local station in Texas, Channel 11. Earlier on, I rang Channel 11 and suggested that perhaps the cult was simply watching the wrong station. Thanks for helping us feed the gondolas. Good night.
11
Hello, my name is Luli, Monica Luli, and I'm ringing you from Ireland.
Hello.
Hello, and I'm ringing you. I had an awfully hard time getting your number, but I was ringing you because of a story I saw in the paper about God's Salvation Church.
Uh-huh.
And I just wanted to... This might sound a bit strange to you now, but I saw in the papers here, it said that they were waiting last week because they thought that God would speak to them on the television and then bring them away in a spaceship. Is that true?
That is correct.
Well, but he never turned up.
No, he was supposed to be on television around 12 o'clock on March 25th, 12 a.m., 12:01 a.m. on March 25th. And he did not appear on TV. Now they say that he has already come and already made his plans.
You see, that's why I was ringing you up, you see, because here in Ireland, I was watching the television last Saturday night. Now, my favourite programme here on Irish television is presented by a man called Pat Kenny. Now, Pat he's 50, but he's something of a sex symbol here, you know. I would never say that in front of my husband, you know. He would get very jealous. Well, my husband lost a foot in a thresher accident and gets pains in his back. So he has a wooden foot now, so I don't like to upset him. But anyway, I always like to settle down with the Baileys and orange, and I look at Pat Kenny. Now, last Saturday night, now sometimes we get interference because we're a long way from Dublin. We're in a little village called Ahasgraw, which is in the west of Ireland, and the transmitters don't always work. But while we were watching Pat Kenny, the screen went all, shushy. You know that shushy, I don't know if you have it in America, but we have it here when the televisions don't work.
Kind of the snow, when the screen is kind of black and white.
That's exactly the thing now, yes, you have it now. But then we heard a voice saying, "Here is God," and it went back to Pat Kenny. Now, I don't know, well, it was just interference, but maybe they were watching the wrong channel.
How interesting. What channel was that you were watching?
This was RTE1. This is Irish National Television.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's because Ireland is a more religious country and he decided to speak on this, because we've had things like this before now. Some people laugh, but we have statues here that move and cry and people hear things and see things because, we are closer to God here, we like to think, of course, maybe they were watching the wrong channel.
Well, tell me because that's really interesting. I don't know how we could do anything on that, but I do want to take your name so I can kind of pass it on to everybody.
Oh, right, that would be great, yes.
Okay.
My first name is Monica.
Okay.
And
Monica?
That's correct. And my surname is Luli, Lolly. Would you like to ring up RTE and ask them to see? They might have a videotape of the programme.
Yeah, well, tell me the name, and then maybe we'll give them a call without you having to keep calling us. Yeah. I know that could be just a tad expensive.
I'm glad you're pleased. I'm glad I rang up now. I thought you might think I was mad or something.
Oh, no, that is so neat. So neat. I'm going to pass this on to my boss, and then let her maybe give them a call back and see if they could get videotape to us, and maybe Federal Express it to us or something.
Oh, that's tremendous. What's your name?
It's Joe, J-O.
Joe.
Phillips, Phillips.
Joe Phillips. You've no Irish in you then?
No, ma'am.
Oh, no, it never had any Irish in you.
Ma'am.
All right.
Not that I know of. I'll say it like that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much now.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for calling, too.
Oh, my welcome. Slán Awalya, as we say in Ireland.
Oh, thank you. Have a good day now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.